So I'm here with Simon Wilson, and Simon is the managing director of Hashtag Hosts and HQFM Quiz Software. Welcome, Simon. Great to meet you.
Yeah, and you, mate. Yeah, thanks for inviting us on.
Good stuff. Tell us about your business then.
Okay, so predominantly we are pub quiz software and also Hashtag Hosts, which we provide hosts to deliver the HQ pub quiz software into different venues across the UK. The great thing is that we can provide a host, or if somebody has already got a host in their particular venue already, it might be a DJ already, it might be somebody who is a member of the public who's confident on a microphone. We can train those guys for free. It only takes about 45 minutes to an hour to train them on software, and they can get a better ROI on using our pub quiz software. All the quizzes, they're already pre-written. There's lots of different games in there already, but it's an opportunity for someone to have a low-cost solution in their venues.
Good, good. And what types of pubs are you dealing with?
So predominantly big brands, but we're not exclusive to any particular brands at all. So we do the vast majority in one of our biggest brands. We do tend to try and help out a lot of smaller venues, so the micro pubs, if you will, because the software is only it's only 20 quid plus VAT for the usage for the week. So if they've got again somebody who's confident to deliver the quiz, then they can use all the content that's in there as well. So it doesn't have to be high cost. I think sometimes people have an expectation that the quiz host, if you relate that to a DJ or to a singer, that's going to cost quite a lot of money. That's not necessarily the case, because we've got the opportunity to reverse some of those costs and therefore make a better ROI for those individual venues. So yeah, we will go in anywhere, but it's not just pub quiz software. We're going to be launching in 2024 into some care homes, because there's been surveys done recently that quizzes assist memory recall for people who've got Alzheimer's. So that's something that we want to reach into. We've got some really good conversations lined up for 2024. But again, fantastic if we could go into the education department or training in some way, shape, or form, because you can create your own quizzes. So if somebody has a particular brand or subject matter that they want to push and drive, let's just say it was for a call center, for argument's sake, and they're training their team on the latest mobile phones, and they've got the details. They can put that in a pop quiz type way. So they could use that as part of their training tools.
All right, converting the training and learning into quiz format.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think some people will learn. People learn in many different ways, but I do think that is one way that you can, and it's self scores as well. So you can put a scoring mechanism next to it as well, and therefore if somebody has to get over 85%, they either do or they don't. So it's not swaying either way. There's different ways that you can answer the question: free form and letters questions, numbers questions, multiple choice questions. There's lots of different ways you could do it. I suppose it's like a driving test, really, with the theory that's all in multiple choice. It's just not paper. It's done electronically on people's devices, so it's really straightforward and easy. So that could be a potential way forward to help the education departments.
And for these types of activities in pubs and in future in other places like you just explained, I guess there are other options available for, and you know, clearly it's a commercial proposition to get people into their establishment so they spend more money, and you're providing entertainment at the end of the day. Yeah. What other options have they got, and what differentiates your offering from the other options that they might have for that type of activity?
Okay, so I think when you go to the pub, I think times have changed, certainly since COVID. I think people now need a reason to go to the pub. I don't think people go to the pub just for an evening on a Wednesday night. I don't believe that they go now, which is one of the reasons why the pub quiz, I think, works really well. Because if you look at the TV from 2 o'clock till about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and more at weekends, it's nothing but quiz trivia. So I think people love a pub quiz. They love a trivia, and obviously during COVID, people did their own well to keep that level of entertainment that we had up. And I believe that I mean we should be supporting all live performances in every way, shape, or form. But if you go into a pub and it could be too loud, it could be not the type of music that you want to listen to, or whether that's a DJ, whether that's a singer, it might be a singer like Rod Stewart or a Tina Turner, which again in my opinion, as a 50-year-old man, I wouldn't want to go and see a Tina Turner sound alike, not personally, or a Rod Stewart. I think those days have gone. If you had something that was a little bit more, I suppose, younger, I suppose, and more modern, then possibly you might go and see those. So I think if you go into a venue and they have an act on, there's too many challenges involved which could make you have a drink up, move on somewhere else. Whereas I believe that a pub quiz, you've got those quizzes for a good couple of hours. They've invested themselves into that particular quiz. So once they've started it, we don't want to stop it, particularly if the quiz is free. Now, even people don't carry cash around with them today, but sometimes it might be £1 per person, and that can create the jackpot that somebody wins at the end of the quiz. But I still believe that if you said to somebody you can play for free, or it's going to cost you £1 or £5 for a team, that's a bigger stumbling block, because people say, well, do you know what, we won't bother, even for just that small amount of money. So if you did it for free and you kept people in the pub, and again, there's ways and means that we can create additional revenue for the pubs for people to spend over the counter, and you'll always get the person who buys the blackcurrant and soda. You will, but you'll also get people who will go there to make it an evening meal. So they'll turn up maybe an hour before the quiz. They'll make it so they'll make a night out of it. So they'll have a couple of beers, they'll have something to drink, and they'll have something to eat. They might have a dessert, and then they'll certainly have a few more drinks throughout the quiz. So we encourage that for an evening out of free entertainment, and you're having some drinks as well. The venue makes revenue. They're happy about it. We've got a full pub on a random Tuesday or Wednesday night when we wouldn't normally.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What about the future then? You alluded to some of the developments that you're looking at.
Yeah.
What are the opportunities and what are the challenges ahead for you?
Opportunities at the moment. We've been working with some small breweries. So we had an idea about 2 years ago to potentially work with a big brewery. So if you have just one big brewery, they take your software, they use it across all of their individual venues, across all of their brands, then everyone's on a winner. I think that's putting all of your eggs in one basket, and I think that's something that we've learned over the last couple of years. That's probably something that we shouldn't do. So we've been looking at smaller breweries and getting other people involved. So if we can stretch our legs a little bit with smaller breweries, then I know the smaller breweries, they talk to each other rather than the bigger brands. So we are in with a smaller brewery. We did a trial for them throughout August of 2023, and things are starting to come to fruition now, which is great. So it works for those particular guys because they either didn't have a quiz in place, or the quiz was getting a bit stale and we needed something that was a little bit more of an uplift, but they didn't have an awful lot of money because they're a much smaller brewery. So we provided the opportunity for them. So that's great. I've just come back from the Hospitality Tech Expo at the Excel in London. I met some wonderful people down there, and I think I probably got a good dozen contacts out of the back of that, one of which is for the pub show next year, where we've been invited to deliver pub quiz each day of the events at the actual show itself, and then we'll have a stand where people can come and see us and talk to us. So we get to live demo it, which is great. Because sometimes when you're at these expo shows, you can demo so much, but you can't show them the full ins and outs because they want to move on and have a little look everywhere else, and time's ticking. So that's something that's great for us in 2024. We're going to look into the care home, as was mentioned earlier, in 2024 as well, to see if we can provide some entertainment for the teams at the care homes, because we do know, again, budgets are tight. And I think that's where the biggest challenges are going to come. Budgets are tight across the board. So if we can provide low cost, high quality entertainment at a then fingers crossed we'll get a bit of an uptake. But that's the biggest challenge, I think, at the moment, Nick, is that people, I mean, at this point of year now, people are saving up for Christmas, or they're spending the money elsewhere, and they're not necessarily going to the pub. So if we can encourage them to go to the pub on one particular night and spend there, so that's great, because we know that pubs are closing to a penny, aren't they, every single week, and it's, you know, it's that's really, really challenging. But budgets right across the whole of the hospitality industry are being stripped back, and again, there's a pro and a con to it, and I'm sure part of that is because people aren't actually going out and attending the venues, but at the same time, so they've got to look at their expenditure costs. But at the same time, I believe that they need to provide a reason for people to go to their venue. I mean, there are little micro pubs popping up here, there, and everywhere. And back in the day, Nick, probably when we were younger men, we went on pub crawls. You know, we went from pub to pub to pub. Whereas we're trying to encourage people to go to one pub and stay there. And so that becomes a level of loyalty, and they get to understand, they get to meet all of the team that are working at that particular venue, and therefore it creates that community. And it sounds a bit cliched, but that quiz community, it might be the only part of human interaction that some of these guys see from week to week, particularly if they're doing what we do now, is working from home. You're not working in an office environment. So actually having a little bit of connectivity with another human being in a quiz environment and creating that community, I believe that that's one of the major opportunities that we've got, and that's part of the opportunities that I push to the venues to say, well, you know, I know that you know some of your guests, but do you know all of your guests? And here is a section of guests that we can bring to the table, and you can get to know them as well. And also you can target market any particular future event that you've got to these particular people, because you know that they come to your venue every single week to play a game quiz.
Simon, you're bringing communities together. You're helping older people think more and keep their brain active. And I'm sure you'll go into lots of other different markets as well that will have equal benefits. So I wish you all the best, and thank you very much.
Thanks very much for your time.